You mentioned Steve Rand's there, so it kind of leads on because I think Steve's almost obviously very, very good analyst, well respected in the industry. He's almost kind of going down the coach analyst role from what it seems like, more of a, and I
Yes.
think that's kind of a change we're seeing in general as well. With there are more clubs now advertising for coach analysts, and the role of the analyst from what you did maybe 5, 10 years ago, and what I did is different to what it is now slightly. So yeah, just want to get your thoughts on that role in particular, Tom. And obviously you come from a coaching background in terms of your degree. So how did that affect your experiences?
Yeah, it's a really interesting role, this coach analyst role now, in terms of finding a balance between having to do your analyst work, because you'll tend to find that a lot of this sort of coach analyst role is now almost what people are coming in as head of analysis.
Yeah.
So you tend to find that a lot of the people will come in as coach analysts with a manager. So
Yeah.
it's almost like they sit on the coach. They sit on the coaching staff, but they're also head of analysis.
Yeah.
And it's finding that balance, from what I've seen, of actually being out on the grass, then also being able to do your pre-match work, do all the work that the coaches expect you to deliver to them, but also being out there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and help with the coaching stuff. I think, I think there's a lot. It's not as much coach; it's still a lot more analyst. But I think they can have like say, they're starting to have a lot more say on coaching sessions, on maybe not the actual coaching. Sometimes we've got people do it that the coach analysts will do opposition. So it's like, okay, well, I've been watching the opposition. This is how they will set up, and it's almost like them just, rather than just going through the meeting room. You now go through the meeting room, and then they'll come out on the pitch and say, look, this is what they're going to do. This is how they're going to build up. This is how they're going to press. So it just gives it another layer of information and detail. I think you'll find a few more set piece coach analysts now, where, cause I think we sometimes found Axel, who was our brilliant set piece analyst, so much detail into there. And then it was, I think, always the frustration, the challenge was then the set piece time out on the grass and actually practicing it. Again, Axel he'd gone through the plan in terms of the coaches and go, right, well, this is what they do. This is what their setups are, attacking and defending. This is how we should set up according to that. This is how we can exploit them. But then sometimes they were getting lost in translation going out onto the pitch. So it's like, okay, well, could you have a set piece coach analyst that does the set piece, and then he goes out on a Friday or Thursday and goes, right, again, this is how they set up. This is what I want you to do. So I think it's a really interesting role. And I think it's going to be an interesting one of finding that balance of, I think it's still going to be a lot more analyst rather than coach. And I think it's finding that balance of being able to, with any hybrid role, being able to do both. Because ideally you want to be out on every training session, and the manager probably wants you to be out on more training sessions to see how they're playing and see if they're doing it right. But equally, you still got to do your job in terms of your main job, which is your analyst work and your pre-match and post-match and everything like that, which, like I say, takes a lot of time. I think sometimes I felt coaches saw the end product and didn't realize how long it actually takes to get to. They see the end product of a meeting or a telestrated clip, but you don't see how long it actually takes to get to that process. For that 3-4 minute video, it's a lot of hours work.
Yeah, definitely.